Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is now Tuesday of week 49 of my becoming an artist journey. I am almost a year in on drawing again, which is super exciting. I definitely think I'm gonna change up my vlog style a tiny bit when I hit the year mark, but for now we're still going strong, and let's start with my inspiration for the week. As far as books go, I did finish The Twisted Ones by Kingfisher. This was horror. It was a small town kind of folk horror kind of vibe. It was okay. The premise was kind of similar to Snake Eater, which is one of her newer books. This one I think is from like 2019. And I think that this played out more successfully than Snake Eater, but it was still like just okay. I think as a rule, I like her newer horror better. So I'd probably rate this like 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think that The Hollow Places and then What Moves the Dead and subsequent books is better than this. This was just okay. That does leave me with these two guys. So this is for my book club. I need to read 2 chapters and go through all the maps and stuff by the end of this month. I have a couple weeks to do this. So I do think I'm gonna start Wolfworm, which is T. Kingfisher's newest horror book as of my filming. I do think I'm gonna at least get this started. I did buy it because it was gorgeous and I could get a signed copy. So I bit the bullet when normally I don't buy books until I've read them and know I like them. So, you know, no pressure for this. But then obviously later in the month, I will do my chapters for book club, which will be super fun. As far as games go, my friend did ask me if we could do a co-op Stardew Valley run. Normally that itch kind of hits in the winter, so it's been interesting that it's hitting a little bit more in the spring. But I did start a new co-op farm. I didn't know that you could have 7 cabins. So I now have 7 cabins. We're currently filling 2 of them. And then either we will kind of build those out as like guest houses, or some of our other friends will join. Maybe they'll just pop in from time to time. We are trying to set up this farm instead of like everyone having their own corner. We're gonna try to set it up so that it's more of a community feel. And I'm excited about that. I think it'll be fun. And as far as art goes, as of now, I have completed the lecture for the next anatomy section, which I think is mostly just muscles of the torso. I do need to do an assignment for that. So I need to essentially grab some stock photos and then draw the torso muscles on top of it. So I'm gonna try to do that today. I have been itching to do some more coasters. I have been brainstorming ways to make it so that I can make not duplicates, but you know, one design and then make multiple sets in anticipation for doing some craft markets this year. So I would like to try to work on that, but I also have some print ideas. I also have some sticker ideas. So really, I'm gonna allow myself, as long as I'm creating and as long as I'm making finished pieces, I'm gonna let myself pick a direction that feels right as long as I'm getting my assignments done. I do think that I fully have decided that I can just work on several different projects at once and they'll all come together thing is not the way forward. I do think that I need to focus on a project, especially since, you know, I work full time. I have to exercise every day. I have to keep a house. I have to, you know, maintain my relationship and, you know, take care of my dog and all of these other things I have to do every day. So I do think that I need to just have a project and continue the project every time I have time so that I can get stuff done, because otherwise I have a bunch of stuff that's barely started that I've made no progress on and nothing will ever get done. I have changed my mind from previous iterations of my workflow. So my rambling section is over. That is our plan for the week, is to at least get that assignment done and to maybe start something else. Let's do it. Voiceover Emily here to take you through the drawing segments for the week. I am starting with that assignment that I talked about. I'm following an anatomy lecture and I'm drawing anatomy on top of reference images. Both of these are from Trueref. I always shout out to them. Their stuff is great. And I'm not using the same images that Marc is using in the demonstration, but I tried to pick similar angles. So I'm following his instruction, but on a different model to try to actually learn something instead of just following along line for line. I think that the back muscles are far more challenging for me than the front, but this was a pretty fun exercise and I think I need to do it at least once or twice more. I could not even begin to tell you the names of all of the muscles, but yeah, I thought that was a good way to prep for the actual drawing this week. And now we are starting our second of the clothing studies from video games, movies, shows, whatever. This is going to be another Hades character. I'll give you 10 seconds in the comments to type who you think it is. Okay, I lost count. I hope that you typed. So this is going to be Selene, this pretty moon goddess lady. And I wanted to kind of take it as if maybe she left wherever she is when you meet her in the game and she went home with her horse and was maybe untacking and just giving them a nice little pat. A few things went wrong with this drawing. The first was I don't think I took it far enough. I think that this helmet armor situation gave me a lot of trouble, especially since I only found 1 or 2 images of Selene from the whole game. So I only ever got to see it from one angle, and I was not drawing it in the angle that I saw it from. I think I should have gone further and taken a little bit more artistic liberties with it and made it like maybe she had taken her armor off and maybe she was taking the horse's armor off at this point or something. Like I should have made it more casual and more slice of life and less trying to get it accurate to the game art, because I started having trouble with the helmet, and then I was really confused about if it was helmet or hair, and I really let that knock my confidence, and then I started overthinking everything and overworking everything, and I was already drawing digitally, which I'm not super comfortable with, so I really just let it snowball from there, and the finished product is not really what I wanted it to be. And it might sound like I'm being really hard on myself, and I mean, I guess I am in a way, but I also really think I needed this. I needed this super overcomplicated drawing where I didn't trust myself and let it get away from me, because the drawing after this one turned out super, super good, and I was really proud of it. And I think I needed this kind of overthinking moment to give myself permission to kind of relax a little bit and make something I'm more happy with. So anyway, at this point I'm starting to add in line art in quotes. I'm not good at line art, so I was trying to keep it pretty loose, especially since there were so many details. And here is where I really should have been adding more of this kind of really dark shadow kind of section to be a little bit closer to the actual game style. But I start getting kind of worried about all the circles and worried about the symmetry and worried about the armor, and I really start to lose that. And I think that the drawing would have benefited from keeping that a little bit more, but c'est la vie. So here's that helmet that I'm really struggling with. I ended up just throwing a bunch of moons everywhere and hoping for the best. I looked at some references from cosplay artists who had done a cosplay of Selene. I looked at all the art I could find. I looked at some fan art, and I just never really felt sure of what it actually looked like, which I think then kind of threw off the rest of the drawing, because I never felt sure about that. So then I never really felt confident about the lighting. I never felt confident about the colors, and it kind of just went off the rails there. What I do like about this piece is I do think that the anatomy turns out pretty decent. I do think that I did an okay job of making it look like the forearm is in front of the back of the arm. And these are pretty proportional arms for me as far as it goes. Limbs, I tend to struggle kind of with the proportions between the upper limb and the lower limb. I also loved drawing all of this shaggy hair on this horse, and there was a lot to like about this. I think I would like to do another Celine drawing in the future, and I think that it will benefit from me having gone through this kind of slog and this kind of creating an overcomplicated drawing that I'm not happy with. There are elements here that I think are an improvement from what I've drawn thus far, and every drawing is another kind of penny in the piggy bank, and it does add up over time, and it all is worth making, even if it ends up being something you're not happy with, which is why I am showing you guys this, even though it's going to be 2 videos of essentially slogging through this drawing. At this point, I was getting super tired of doing all of this line art. I already really struggle with line art, and then we had a lot of circles to add into the mix, and it just got overwhelming. So when I should have been doing a lot more of the really dark shadow areas, I just started throwing flats in because I just was like, I need to see this as a real shape. I need to see how the silhouette ends up looking, and I want to put color on. So we just started throwing some colors on. It was really a good session. I did spend a lot of time drawing, whereas I can just remember thinking back how tiring even doing just the basic sketch would have been for me. And now in one session, I can do the sketch, do the line art, start the flat. My stamina for drawing has increased so much since I started drawing again, and that's so exciting, and I can't wait to see how that continues. But really adding these flats in is going to be the end of this video. So that is how far I got so far. I'm gonna take you guys on my little weekend adventure, and then we'll pick back up on Celine next video. And I will leave you with this very sweet, nice music, and see you next time.